Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and today I have with me Noah Curtis, who's the defensive end at a Florida International. How are you, sir?
Doing great. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Been a busy time lately. I mean, obviously a lot going on with athletes, uh, doing pro days, preparing for pro days, and just continuing to grind as the draft rapidly approaches. So,
hmm
um, but Noah, man, give us a little brief summary of your career so far. I mean, tell me maybe a little bit about everything. I mean, just kind of in a nutshell, kind of sum it up for all the listeners out there.
Are we talking about college or just like from like the very start?
Well, take us back, man. Tell me where you're from. We'll go from there.
I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay. What in your high school and all that stuff? Bring us up to speed.
Oh, okay. So, well, if you're gonna go back to the start, we gotta go back to how I started playing.
All right, that's fine. Let's run with it. As long as it's not Pee Wee, and we're going like 20 years of your life or whatever.
No. I'll give you a brief summary.
All right, cool.
All
Bring it to me.
right. So I first started playing ball when I was 4 or 5 years old because I saw my brother play football. He's 18 months older than I am. And I just remember crying on the sidelines, screaming at my mom, just saying, I want to play ball. I want to play with my brother. And then the next year, I think they didn't have like a league for like my age. So my parents lied on paper for like my age. Yeah. Yeah. So I can play with my brother. Cause I was so tall as a kid, so people thought that I was older, but I was younger. So yeah, that's how I started playing football. Those were like my very first memories. And high school, those were high school was tough because I went to four different high schools. Each of them it made me who I am today. But my last high school was American Heritage in Delray Beach, and that school really helped me who I am today, because with my studies and my academics, so what I wanted to study in college and what kind of football player what position I was going to play in college. So I chose FIU because it was it was like an hour and 30 minutes away from home. And I get to see my family whenever I wanted to. It's close to the beaches, it's plenty of stuff to do in Miami. And generally, I thought that was the smartest choice for me. So coming in as a freshman, I was 200, I think 18 pounds as a defensive end. And that's not a good weight for a defensive end. No, not at all. So I remember eating peanut butter jellies and protein shakes, everything and anything you can think of to help you gain weight. I did it. Ramen, chicken, everything. And I remember at the end of my freshman year, I got up to like 240 pounds. And I was so proud of that, just from where I started from back in June of 2017. So some of my college career, I was the 3-year starter. I was team captain. I was on the leadership council for 3 years. I was FIU's comeback player of the year back in 2018, coming off a torn labrum that I suffered my freshman year. I had numerous preseason and all conference awards, and third team All American Conference USA. So my college career has been very, very successful. I just wish it could have panned out different my senior year. Only playing 5 games, it really did hurt me, and not being able to get that senior night, that kids dream for, to walk on that field, on your home field, one last time to play in front of your fans and stuff, and your family watching. So that's basically my college career.
Yeah, I mean, you're no longer a scrawny little kid. Obviously, you about 6'5", 260 plus pounds now. So you're not like 220-ish. I mean, you've definitely grown into that body that I know a lot of teams really want. I mean, again, big guy, long arms, big hands. Perfect size, really. So obviously have ideal measurements there for people to look at. But what do you believe is like the best thing you bring to the table? Like maybe one of your best attributes as a player?
Well, I can say this: my hustle and my dedication and hard work will set me out by far. From the moment I come into the facility to the practice field to the meeting fields, I'm always going to be the most dedicated person, always taking notes, always writing down everything that the coaches says. Even when you least expect it, you never know when you could use that in the game or at practice. So I'm always taking notes, I'm always studying, and I'm always a hard worker. And I also like to get the guys going, get them all juiced up and ready up for practice. I like to bring the how can I say this? How can I say this? Bring the noise or bring the enthusiasm up in practice. So I like to get the guys going a lot. I can bring that. I can also bring off the field my passion and dedication to the community. I love giving back to those, like feeding the homeless and doing food drives, cleaning up the ocean, anything and anything that needs help, I'll be there.
So with you as a player on the field, I mean, obviously, you got to watch some guys in the NFL. I mean, you got to look up to guys. I mean, who's
Mhm.
been your biggest, I don't know, who are you the biggest fan of, like at the next level? I mean, when you're looking at a guy at your position, who are you watching and trying to emulate and, maybe even comparing yourself to at the next level?
Well, as a kid, I always grew up comparing myself to people who I will eventually, be like, similar height, weight, similar physique and how they rush off the edge. So growing up for me as a kid, it was Michael Strahan, to be honest. We both had a gap in our mouths as a kid. He still has this. I got rid of mine. But yeah, Michael Strahan as a kid, just because like he brought that energy. You always see him all riled up and happy on the sidelines, getting his guys going. But on the field, he like flicks the switch and he's just a whole different monster on the field. When I was in college, I was always watching Miles Garrett. I mean, same thing, same like height, really like tall and like long. He uses his arms very well, and also Chandler Jones for Arizona. Those were the guys I watched most in college. And I resumed my game after.
Gotcha. So, I mean, do you see yourself more so as like, I don't know, just kind of a flexible defensive end that could play in different schemes? I mean, what schemes have you played there at FIU, being edge rusher?
So at FIU, we were a base 4-3 team,
Hmm.
and then there was some packages where we would go 3-4, and I did it both. And at the next level, I would do whatever the coach wants me to do. If he wants my hand in the dirt, I'll do it. If he wants me to stand up off the edge and be like that outside backer, I'll do it. If it needs to be anything else, I'll do it. So
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is obviously for a guy your size, I think that a lot of people are like, I don't know if I really want him dropping back into coverage because I mean, it's a big dude. I mean, I really want him going forward and like, creating
mhm.
havoc in the backfield. So, I mean, that's really what I want out of you. But I don't know. I mean, again, if a coach asks you to do something, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So, I mean, if he wants
Mhm.
you to completely switch positions, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
But whatever gets you on the field. So, um, this obviously, like you said, didn't play maybe as many games as you wanted this past season. But one thing
Mhm.
that you were able to do was you were able to attend some All-Star events. That
Yeah.
being I think you were at the Tropical Bowl and the Hula Bowl, right?
Yeah, I went to the Tropical Bowl first. Yeah, I went to the CGS event, even though they didn't have like a game, but we did drills
Okay.
and then the Hula Bowl. Yeah, so
So,
three.
walk us through those events. I mean, again, the College Gridiron Showcase, Tropical Bowl, and Hula Bowl. Any stories maybe that you want to share about those things? I mean, how did they
Man.
help you develop as a player?
Well, first of all, I want to thank, the Tropical Bowl, the CGS Bowl, and the Hula Bowl for allowing me to showcase my abilities and giving me the opportunity to play, in front of the scouts and showcase my abilities. So I'm forever thankful for that. But these events were like back to back to back. You know, the Tropical Bowl ended, I think, mid-January. The CGS was late January to February, and I think in the Hula Bowl was like February, I think, or late January, February. I don't remember, but it was all back to back to back. So me and my fiance, we drove to Orlando because I'm in Jacksonville right now. So it was about like a 2.5 hour drive just to get to Orlando and back. When we went to Texas, we drove to Texas from Jacksonville. That was like, I think, 14 hours, 12 to 14-hour drive. Oh, yeah. And you imagine a big guy like me driving a car, legs cramping and all. And we drove there and back. That's 14 hours. And then to the Hula Bowl, which I got the notification late that I was invited to the Hula Bowl, I had to drive to Tampa to get a COVID test done a day before I had to leave for the airport. So I had to drive 3 hours to Tampa to get a COVID test and come back, and then I had to take 3 flights to get to Hawaii. So Jacksonville to Houston, Houston to LA, and LA to Hawaii, which you were flying basically the whole day. So you're basically drained and tired when you got off the plane. But I can honestly say that the Hula Bowl, it definitely like exceeded my expectations. So did Tropical Bowl and CGS, even though they didn't have a game. I learned a lot, and I took all the information I could grab and take with me, so that could help me be a pro.
Great. So, I mean, obviously the CGS, their format is a little different. They basically put you guys through drills. I mean, but also, not just the CGS, but a lot of other AllStar events. They sit you guys down in seminars, and they really
Mhm.
teach you guys how to be professionals. And did you take anything out of those seminars?
I did actually. I took down a lot of notes, especially when it came from managing your money and to investing to having your own foundation, because there's a lot of people that are going to an NFL, or people currently in the NFL, who don't have a backup plan, or they don't know what they're going to do after ball. They're just stuck. So most of the seminars, we just talk about how well you can finance your money and how well you can like manage and how much you'll make over a certain time, depending on where you go, if you go undrafted or not, how many years you play in the league. And it really did open my eyes about how to like market yourself, and how to invest properly, and how to like, if you have your own foundation and when you start your own foundation, the steps to go through it to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, some things that a lot of people think of is like all those financial things when it comes to being a player. I mean, they think,
Yeah,
hey, I'm rich, I can do whatever I want.
people just think
Seriously,
like when you're NFL, you're just gonna get paid just like that. It doesn't work like that. You got, taxes, you got
oh yeah,
fees to pay. They don't understand that, but yeah.
yeah. I wonder how much you got all these high priced quarterbacks. I mean, I wonder how much they're forking out in taxes each and every year. I think it's crazy to think of. Um, hey Noah, I want you to break down a couple of moments of you on the field for us. Actually, before we get to that, I forgot. When's your pro day? I know your pro day is coming up soon, right?
Yeah, so my pro day is on March 29th.
Gotcha. And with regards to that pro day, what are you trying to accomplish for that pro day? I mean, what are you trying to show scouts?
I'm just trying to show scouts that the ability that I have, how fast I am, how strong I am, how athletic I can be, whatever in my drills, whether it's defensive, whether I'm doing defensive end drills or outside linebacker drills, just to show how I can move and how I can play those positions. So my back is against the wall here, but I'm so ready to like show the scouts and everybody who doubted me growing up that I can play in the NFL, I can play at the next level.
Great. So give us a couple of moments of you actually, playing football. I mean, during your career. First thing that I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about is you as a student of the game, and maybe like
Mhm.
how at one point or another you were in the film room studying somebody, and it played out in a game time situation. And to follow that, I want you to give me like your best moment as a football player. So film
Okay.
room and best moment. Why don't you go ahead and hit me with it?
Okay. Film room. Sophomore year against, I think, Western Kentucky. Me and the D line coach at the time, Kenny Holmes, we were in the film room, just me and him watching film, trying to take down keys and tendencies that the O linemen have. And we found out that the left tackle, his foot was slightly more up for run, and the pass, it was slightly back. And he was looking to where he was going. So if he was looking down the line, he was going to make a down block. If he looked at me, he was going to do a base block or try to reach me or pass it. So we gave off keys. I'm not going to say what the keys are, the names, but we gave keys based off his alignment and his foot. And we won that game. We dominated that game on defense. And it was all because of film. And I know at the next level, film is going to be very, very important. So I got to do the same thing what I did in college and translate it over to the pros. And my best moment from college, everybody knows about the Miami game. And I think I talked about that on the last podcast. But the next best moment I had to be homecoming 2018 against Middle Tennessee. And that game, we had like the most fans that I ever seen at FIU Stadium. And I mean, it was a hard fought back and forth game. They would score, we would score, we would get a turnover, they would get a turnover. It was generally those games that you live for to play college football. And I remember in the fourth quarter when James Morgan threw a touchdown to CJ, and the crowd just erupted, like going loudest, the loudest that I ever heard it before. And on that kickoff, the song Mo Bamba by Shaq West was playing, and I mean everybody was jumping around, singing, getting turned. The crowd was getting turned, and then that was the last drive of the game. That's when it was happening. And then that last drive of the game, Olin Cushing got an interception that ends up to seal the game, and we won the game. And we remember just storming the field. We were happy. We were jumping around. I mean, those are literally the games that you live for as a college football player.
Yeah,
When you
I
get
mean,
the fans involved and your teammates involved, and everybody's just having fun, jumping around. Those are like the games that
yeah, I
like.
mean, you figure games against your rivals. I mean, obviously, the people in your conference, like Middle Tennessee, like you were saying. I mean, you really want to be able to, you know, go hard against those guys and always come
Mhm.
out on top. So, I mean, obviously, a lot of great memories against people in your conference. And again, like you said, even though we chatted about it like in the other interview, your game against Miami, just a fantastic moment. Obviously, to be
Yeah.
able to be this huge underdog that no one gave any credit to, and ended up pulling out a
Yeah.
win. I mean, obviously, again, another one of your guys' great moments. Certainly something that I know you could probably find like online somewhere to watch. Really, all of those events that you spoke of.
Hmm.
Um, so all that stuff is great, but let's kind of take a moment and talk about you outside of football. Talk to me a little bit about yourself. Things that you're interested in, anything that you want to share for everybody watching.
Well, I love to cook. Like I think if I wasn't a football player, I think I'll be a chef because I love cooking. I love cooking so much. I also love, going to the beach, relaxing, and I'm a dog person. Yes, I am. I have two dogs. I love going for walks with them, taking them to the dog park. I love animals. I love volunteering at, animal shelters and, giving back and giving them homes.
Great. So I mean, and in my notes, I think you were a criminal justice major, right?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
And you had graduated just recently, correct?
Yes, I did in December. Yeah, I got my
Awesome.
bachelor's.
Cool. So, hypothetically, with that degree, like, where would you be? What would you be doing with that if there was no football?
Ooh. Good question. There's a lot of options when it comes to the criminal justice degree. You could go into like, the law school to be like a lawyer or like a
Mhm.
DA. You could go take like the law enforcement route to be like an FBI agent or like, a police officer. I'm so undecided at the time, but I'm leaning towards joining the government or like being an FBI, join the FBI.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, there's tons of ways of going with that, of course. I mean, and I've talked to obviously tons. I know tons of people that it doesn't matter what your degree was in college. Sometimes you just kind of get into, something completely different. So sometimes just being
Mhm.
able to say, "Check, I got that degree," is just a wonderful thing. So
Yeah.
congrats to you. Um,
Thank you.
and last time I talked, you were engaged. Are you still engaged, or did you get hitched yet?
Yeah. Yes, I'm still engaged.
All right, cool, cool. Well, we got to get that out there. So I mean, give some
Yes.
props to that fiance of yours. But and I guess now is when we would do that. So give some shout outs to some people that maybe you love the most, that have really helped get you to where you are today.
Yeah, first and first, I gotta give shout out to my beautiful fiance.
There you
You
go.
know, she helped me a lot. Mentally, she helped me become the man that I am today. I also gotta give a huge shout out to her whole fam for just helping me, taking me in, feeding me, putting a roof over my head, for this whole training, for this whole training for the pro day for the draft. Also gotta give thanks to all my former position coaches at FIU, Coach Kenny Holmes, Kennard Lane, Damian Lewis, those guys helped me evolve on the football field. So I gotta give props to them. And also last shout out goes to all my best friends at FIU, Andrew Tarver, Lexi, Jakari. You guys know who you are. I appreciate y'all for supporting me and having my back.
Nice. I ask everybody the why question. So why question really meaning your motivation, maybe why you play football. Hit us with it, man. Like, why do you do what you do?
Because I love the game. Any kids that cries because their brother's playing a game that you want to play and you're not playing. I mean, that shows passion. That's passion right there. So from a kid, I always had that passion and love for the game that I still carry and hold on to this day. So my passion and love goes back to when I was a kid, you know. Plus, this has always been a dream of mine since a kid. So this is about to be a dream come true. I mean, kids dream of, having a pro day, to hear their names or even get picked up for a team on draft day, those are just lifelong dreams. And I'm about to accomplish my dreams. So I'm just very, very excited.
Awesome. And very last thing, man, really want you to give your pitch to all those teams out there in the NFL. I mean, why should they take a chance on you, sign you, bring you into their team? What kind of teammate would you be?
I'm a very humble teammate, very humble guy. I'm very hardworking and very motivating. From the time I step into the doors to the time I walk out, I will be the hardest working, most dedicated, most advocate, the most bring the juice to the practice, giving everything I have each and every day. I'll give my blood, sweat, and tears for any organization that signs me and gives me an opportunity to play.
Great. I mean, obviously, we talked a lot about you and what you bring to the table.
Mhm.
Again, excellent size, great motor. Good team leader. A guy that's willing to also help out in the community, and also a good character guy. So, I mean, it's nice to have guys that you don't have to worry about, like outside of football.
Mhm.
Obviously, you're not going to get in trouble or anything, which I think is cool. But again, Noah, best of luck to you on your pro day coming up. Hope to hear some good things about that pro day.
Mhm.
And anything and everything that you do, man. I mean, just take care of yourself and appreciate the time that you took for this interview.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back again.
Sure. Again, this is Noah Curtis, defensive end, Florida International. Check him out.